What is the minimum sample size required to conduct SEM analysis? Back with me, Adi Kurniawan Yusuf. In this video, we're gonna learn together about minimum sample size required to conduct SEM analysis, covariance space SEM or variance space SEM known as VLS. The first one, let's discuss about minimum sample size for partial least square or VLS. First of all, regarding the minimum sample size, it is not one size fits all. Therefore, it should be adjusted with several factors. The other thing you need to know that VLS SEM can work efficiently using small sample size and also complex model. Now let's discuss together about minimum sample size required for VLS. The most common use is the idea of Hare et al. And Hare always put this rule in most of his books. This is 10 times rule. In the book itself, it is stated that the sample size suggested should be equal to 10 times the number of independent variables in the most complex regression in the VLS path model, considering both measurement and structural model. As you know, measurement model is the outer model. It is the relationship between the variables and also the indicators. And structural models, it is inner model that shows the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. Or in the other words, it can be said that 10 times the maximum number of arrowheads pointing at a latent variable anywhere in the VLS path model. So if I conclude, the minimum sample size based on Hare et al. 10 times rule is 10 multiplied by the maximum number of arrowheads pointing a latent variable. The arrowhead can come from the latent variable or the formative indicator. As you know that the arrow of the formative indicators is from the indicators to the variables. This is the example. I have 4 variables here. There are 2 independent variables, 1 mediating variables, and 1 dependent variable. If you can see, the arrowhead pointing the product quality as independent variable is 0. No arrowhead point this product quality variable. For brand positioning, there is no arrowhead also point this variable. For brand attitude, there are 2 arrowhead point this variable. The arrowhead from the product quality and also from brand positioning. While for brand loyalty, as a dependent variable, there are 3 arrowhead point these variables. It comes from product quality, brand attitude, and also brand positioning. My question is that what is the minimum sample size based on Hare et al? Again, it is 10 times maximum number of arrowhead pointing a latent variable. Therefore, the maximum number of arrowhead pointing a latent variable in this case is 3. For product quality is 0, brand positioning is 0, brand attitude is 2, brand loyalty is 3. So the maximum is 3 multiplied by 10. So the minimum sample size required based on Hare et al. 10 times rule is 30. Is it clear, right? How if the indicator of brand loyalty is formative indicator? So all the arrow point the latent variable. So the arrowhead pointing the latent variable will be 3 coming from product quality, brand attitude, and also brand positioning, added with 4 formative indicators, Y1.1, Y1.2, Y1.3, and Y1.4. So the minimum sample size will be 7 multiplied by 10. It will be 70. However, some people think that minimum sample size from Hare et al. Is actually 5 to 10 multiplied by the number of indicators. So for example, in this case, there are 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4, it means 16 indicators. So the minimum sample size should be 5 multiplied by 16. It equals to 80. After I analyze further, this minimum sample size formula is correctly stated by Hare et al. But actually it is not used for regression analysis, but it is used for exploratory factor analysis or EFA. It is stated that the minimum ratio of observation to variables is 5/1, but the preferred ratio is 15/1 or 20/1, which should increase when stepwise estimation is used. So again, this minimum sample size formula actually can be used if you conduct exploratory factor analysis or EFA. The second one is using G-power application. Hare et al. 2019 and also 2022 state that the minimum sample size should consider several factors, such as the effect size and also power. Effect size is used to assess the relative impact of the independent variables on the dependent variables or endogenous variable. As the effect size is lower, you need higher sample size. While power is the probability of concluding that an effect is significant when in fact the effect is significant. High power will minimize or reduce type 2 errors. The good power will be ranged between 0.8 to 0.9. Using G-power, you can consider these factors: effect size, power, and also significance level, it is the alpha, and also number of predictor variables. Okay, this is the G-power. So for the task family, you can use t-test because you want to conduct complex multiple linear regression. For statistical tests, it depends on the analysis type that you want to conduct. In this case, we will conduct complex linear multiple regression because we have mediating variable, so just choose linear multiple regression. The type of power analysis is a priori, so we want to compute the required sample size. Okay, for tails, of course, change it into 2 tails. For effect size, small effect size starts from 0.02, medium starting from 0.15, large starting from 0.35. As I mentioned previously, as the effect size is lower, you need more sample to analyze. Usually, just use medium effect size, in which 0.15. If you want to make it lower, just use 0.1, it is still okay. Less than 0.1, the number of sample size will be very high. So let's say 0.1. The alpha, usually 0.05, this is the significant level. Power, just use 0.8. The number of predictors is the number of independent variables. In our case, it is 3. Product quality, brand positioning, and also brand attitudes. So this is 3 and calculate. You can see here the total sample size needed is 81. Okay? If you increase the effect size become 0.15, the number of sample size will be reduced because as I mentioned, as the effect size is higher, the number of sample will be decreasing. You can see this is only 55. For power, when you want to increase the power, the number of sample size will be higher. So for example, I use 0.9, it will be 73. Is it clear, right? G-power is easy to use application to calculate minimum sample size. The third most common method used is the method from Koch and Hadaya. It is known as inverse square root method. It considers the minimum path coefficient needed to be significant. It uses P minimum. P here is the minimum path coefficient expected to be significant. You can use directly this table. So the P minimum is the minimum expected path coefficient to be significant. The significance level is alpha, so the statistical power used in this table is 80%. For example, you expect the minimum path coefficient is 0.31 up to 0.4 to be significant, and the significant level you use is 5%, so the minimum sample size will be 39. However, the inverse square root method is rather conservative in that it is slightly overestimate the sample size required to render an effect significant at a given power level, though it is easy to use. And it is less commonly used compared to the G-power and also Hare et al. There are several pros and cons regarding which method should be used, which method is the good one. For me personally, I prefer to use Hare et al. Or G-power. However, Hare et al. Also mentioned regarding general guidelines of minimum sample size when we want to use PLS-SAM. He said that the recommended sample size should based on statistical power consideration and the context of the research. In general, larger sample size are preferable, but smaller sample size are acceptable depending on the context of the research. So, if I can conclude whether you want to use Hare et al. 10 times rules or using G-powered or inverse square root method, remember the preferable minimum sample size is 100. So whatever method you use to determine the minimum sample size for your research, remember that at least 100 sample size is preferable. That's about PLS-SAM. How about covariance-based SAM? Generally, covariance-based SAMs need larger sample size. In covariance-based SAM, such as Amos and Lisrel, you can conduct exploratory factor analysis. Larger sample size are generally produce more stable solution, particularly when data or measurement problem exists. These are the summaries made by Hare et al. 2019 regarding the minimum sample size for covariance-based SAM, such as the number of the constructs, the number of indicators or items, and also the communalities. Communalities represents the correlation between items or indicators that represent a variable.